So this is our second session this evening.
Caller disconnected.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
There you are. I was wondering where were you?
My voice, or my mic was muted, I guess. I didn't realize that.
Oh, I'm on a bit later tonight. I've been having a terrible day and been very tired and doing work and whatever.
You get the job then?
Not yet. I got a fair bit of work done today, but not sure exactly what's going on. I couldn't sleep last night, so I slept for part of today. So my sleep schedule's been all thrown off here. I'll have to fix it tonight if I can. I'll try taking a sleeping pill later.
So I ended up, you know how I usually bounce around from one system to the next and from station to station?
Yeah.
I found me a very interesting mission.
What's that?
I'll just share it with you. It might be easier.
Is it a cargo mission or?
It's a cargo mission.
Okay, I've got some money now. I've got 13.8 million out of my rebuy cost on the Python's 9. So I've made nearly 10 million in the last short while.
I thought you had 50 or 60 million.
Well, but then I bought the Type 9.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so I shared that mission with you. You'll have to check it out.
Okay, 1 second. How do I look at it? I don't even know.
It should be in your transactions, the shared contract. On your left panel.
Yeah, 1 second. Invites supply unit of 2,337 units of Imperial slaves. Okay, haven't done an Imperial slave mission before. You need a cargo depot, so they're in cryogenic freeze. There's no air in that cargo depot. It's in Balder, so I'd have to come over there in my my diamond, and I'd have to ship my freighter ship over there. What's it like over there for missions, like in terms of cargo missions? I was just there today, but I didn't look.
Well, Boulder is like 2 light years away from Tangaroa. They're pretty much, the head faction in Tangaroa a while back took over Boulder, so it's basically they're twin systems under the same management, under the same control.
Okay, just give me a second here. Let's have a look. Shipyard, we'll switch to... How long do we have to complete it?
Did you look at the reward?
40s, holy shit.
That's what I was waiting for you to notice. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is you go to Tangaroa, you buy a shitload of slaves, and you bus them over to Balder. Well, by the time you get done, and God damn it, I'm getting interdicted. Fucking douchebag. I have nothing for you to fucking steal, stupid.
That's an interesting one. You have 1 day to finish it. How much? So if I accept this, I get the 47 million, and so do you.
I do believe. I don't know if we both get 47 or.
Yeah, we both get 47. So
The problem is it costs 39 million or something like that just to buy the slaves. So you're only coming out with like an 8 million credit profit.
well, not necessarily. What if you found it a place to buy slaves cheap?
That's the fun part, trying to figure out where to get the slaves.
You get slaves on the cheap.
In Tangaroa, they're about 16, almost 17,000. I just got 35,000 credit bounty.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me just, I'm just going to take a quick peek at something here. Hang on. Okay, so we got...
I was trying to look around on the market, and apparently, or in the market view,
Yeah.
for slaves, and it won't give any information.
Well, just give me a second. I can... There's a website here I've got that'll help out. Commodities. So we want imperial slaves centered on Tangaroa. Stations. So imperial slaves. Hang on. Station with ships. Government. Commodities. Imperial slaves. Tangaroa by price. Hang on. Tangaroa?
Yep.
Tangaroa. A or E? Oh, Tangaroa. There we go. Asylum and social. Okay. Find stations. Okay. Um... Well, the cheapest you get them for is 1,000. $1,703. It doesn't say where. Hang on. The cheapest you can get them for in the game right now is 13,309.
It's still going to be about 35 million credits just to buy them all. Then how far do you got to ship them or haul them?
You can sell them for a maximum of 18. Your net profit is 5,618 credits maximum. I don't know, it doesn't look that great. I mean, it's 8 million profit maximum.
I'm not planning on doing it because I don't have the money to sit and do it. I just figured I'd save it and show it to you for the fun of it.
Yeah, well, it's not, in the end, I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's not that interesting because you have to feed these slaves. I guess they're in the cargo bay, but they cost a lot to ship. But yeah, they'll sell for quite a bit, and what's driving the price up is the fact there's over 2,000 of them.
Yeah.
There's nearly 3,000 of them. So, yeah, I mean, you'll get about 8 million credits all told, realistically, maximum. Which is nothing to sneeze at, but even if we both take our Type 9s out, it's still a good 4 solid trips.
Yeah. Bit more than it's probably worth.
I think so. I can carry up to 400. With my ship laid out as it is, I can probably carry about 400 of them.
I've got 400 right now on mine, but I'm also set up for mining operations with that ship.
Well, you'd have to swap out the minerals. Well, you'd have to swap out some of the systems for defenses, because that region, you're gonna need defenses.
Oh, I've got the biggest shield I can put in that ship already.
Yeah, my ship is still being built. I'm still building my ship up, so.
No, mine's not far from being done. I just happen to have a few things in there that I can afford to do. I'm still working on saving up money. I had to put a shield, a 6A shield, back into my Python. So that was 13 million credits. Then I put a couple guns on it. There's another million credits.
Yeah.
I'll get a notice from Balder pretty quick here, scolding me for dropping that mission.
Well, you could have looked at it before accepting it, but I don't think you're going to there's no fine associated with it, from what I could read.
No fines, but I'll lose a little bit of reputation, which one run to Boulder, and I'll have that reputation earned back. I'm on allied status with them, so
yeah. I mean, you might
one mission.
you might not even lose allied, depending on. You got to be careful when you accept missions, but I mean, yeah, it's in the end of the day, it's not a.
I looked to make sure I wasn't going to get a fine for it, for taking it and then dropping it. I took it just so I could show you. I figured you might get a good chuckle out of it.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of money, but.
It's quite a bit of money, but it's a lot of hassle.
Like I said, with us each taking 400, 3 trips for me, 3 trips for you, it's 2,400. And then, one or both of us have to take a 4th mission. And then we've got the whole... Well, when we each have done our 4 runs, we would have had the 8 million. That's what would have happened. But... that's quite a journey. That's at least probably 6 hops a shot, and that's if we don't get attacked. And I still have to build up defenses on mine. Like, I still haven't purchased guns and things. All I've got is a fighter bay, which is nothing to sneeze at. My fighter shoots plasma charges into your shield, so it's a tough little fighter, but. And it's fixed targeting. But of course, with a ship like that, who gives a shit if it's fixed targeting or not? You can just... I can just skim on by and just keep shooting into your shields until they're gone, and then...
Yeah, I'm doing more scan missions. They're the easiest way to make money, really.
Yeah. Let's see here. We got a...
The only ones I accept are 1 million credits plus, so it's... And then I get materials.
Let's just see here. I've got... I've got to have a look at my... I've got to have a look at my faction, because I haven't done any factioning lately, and I got to see what my status is right now. See if I have to do anything. I'm pledged to Panava and Tal, status 1. To get my vote, I have to have at least 100 merits. Someone's taking a system away from us this turn.
Doing what?
Well, we've got 120... Someone's taking a Curious... Aquarix? 214 light years away. They're going to take it from us this turn. It's got the enemy attack at 343%, defense at 120%. So we made an effort to try to stop them from taking a system. But in the end, they've hit their trigger by a factor of more than 3.5. And we've defended it only to 120%. So
they get it.
It's going to go to Felicia Winter. Yeah, they're going to take it. Felicia Winters is in the lead this turn.
Well, Maltus is not going to like me when I go visit them. I got about 8 scan missions there to do.
How the hell did Man fall so far behind so quickly? Man used to be completely out of reach, and now Felicia Winters is the one who's way out in front.
No.
I don't like this rating system for this power play. It doesn't really make much sense. You can be way out in the lead. He was 4,000 command control. Hang on.
Your command capital is what?
Yeah, he was 4,000 ahead in command capital. And then all of a sudden now he's not. I'm rating to... Hang on. Just looking at our map. Holy shit. We're huge. I mean, in terms of surface area, we're gigantic. But Felicia Winters has made huge gains in the past turn.
She must have some kind of whatever her faction reward is. Must be pretty wanted right now. Then I'm guessing.
She's got a lot of people defending her. She's one of the targets I was going to go for in terms of allegiance next. It was her and Man that I was going to park my vote with. I don't know what her weapon is, but
I'd have to look, but I'm busy trying to enter the orbit of a planet.
I can find out quickly enough. Hang on a second. Bugger off. Felicia Winters. With the disappearance of President Halsey and the early murder of Vice President Nigel Smeaton, Felicia Winters found herself thrust into the charge of the Liberal Party. She inherited a political party in crisis, and had to work quickly to try and resolve the people's faith in their party. As someone born and raised on Taylor Colony, Felicia Winters learned early on that when presented with difficult choices, humanity can't always be trusted to do the right thing. She sees it as her duty to push for the right choice, even if it's the hard choice. Alicia Winters has already proved to be a versatile opponent, and in many opinion polls is running level with President Hudson. Many voters are growing concerned by the president's aggressive rhetoric and are turning to the Liberal Party to counter what they see as the road to war. You're not into politics, but just out of curiosity, you tend to vote conservative, right? When you do vote?
I don't vote.
Oh, you don't, eh?
No.
Have you voted before?
You got to remember the whole part about me being a felon. I can't vote on top of me not wanting to vote.
Oh, you're kidding! You can't even vote?
Nope.
Holy shit, man! That's just an alien concept to us here in Canada. It really is. Criminals vote in prison here.
We don't get that option.
I mean,
Depending on what part of the country you live in, you never regain that option either.
really? That is...
And everybody tries to make the United States sound like such a great and wonderful place.
Well, it might be a great and wonderful place, but, I mean, in terms of democracy, I mean, that takes a huge hit for me in terms of it being truly democratic. I mean, voting is a fundamental right for most of the world's democracies. You can't take it away.
You got to remember, the United States isn't a democracy, it's a republic.
Well, republics are kind of democracies, according to the United Nations. Canada is a parliamentary democracy, right? There's a lot of those, but there are a lot of republics out there where you don't lose the right to vote either. The main difference between a parliamentary democracy and a republic is that in a republic, regardless of your right to vote, the republic has an elected head of state. In a parliamentary democracy, your head of state is usually appointed, like in Ireland, or it is a inherited right descending from monarchy, right? So there's an agreement between the people and the crown that basically makes it possible for the people to have democratic votes, democratic rights, habeas corpus, this kind of thing, right? I mean, you look at habeas corpus, it stems from ancient Roman times. It literally means from the Latin, having the body. And what it refers to in law is that you minimally have the right to bail, you have the right to be accessed by other people. So even if you're in jail, you can be visited. You take those things away, you don't have habeas corpus anymore, and you become more like a dictatorship, regardless of whether or not you call yourself a republic or not. But taking something like a vote, which in Canada is considered a fundamental right of citizenship, and taking that away from even criminals, like even a murderer can have an opinion on political process. Prisons never amount to like a block of voting. They don't vote themselves special powers or privilege. They usually fall into, the prisoners, who are largely not murderers anyway, but the vast majority are lesser crimes, but they have an opinion about how they want their society to run, and it's to give them stakes so that when they get out of prison, they are still participating in the democratic process. That's why you have prisoners vote, because they're not going to be in jail forever.
You see what? You can't think of it this way. Okay, for all the people that got into trouble with the law here in the United States, where's the incentive for us to give it a flying shit?
Very little. No wonder it doesn't behave like a normal democracy. It isn't a normal democracy.
No, but it's the greatest country in the world, you know.
It has many advantages, don't get me wrong. In the United States, I still like Americans. I still think that there are many, many interesting things about the United States, but taking away your citizens' right to vote You may as well take their citizenship away too while they're at it.
Yes. I cannot vote. I can never hold public office. I can never work for a government entity.
See, one of the problems I have in Canada is we're becoming more American-like that way in terms of, I mean, right now I'm an ex-con, technically. I was only in jail 2 days, but I'm disqualified from holding certain levels of, recently found out I can't hold, I can't join the Secret Service. That's a relatively new thing.
I'm getting fucking interdicted again.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. But there are but a lot of the government is still open to me. Like, if I hold military level clearances despite my background as having, and that was 10 years ago. I mean, I haven't been involved with the law. I've only really had one involvement with the law. I know my conviction date and everything. It's not something I have to look up.
Federal dropship competence.
Ooh, are you okay?
And I'm in my ass explorer. I don't think I want to tangle with him.
No, I don't think so. Well, confident isn't that good. I mean, you might beat them, but you'll take a hit.
Well, it's a dropship. I don't really feel like running back to base.
Oh, dropships? Dropships are the weaker of the two. The gunship is the one you got to watch out for.
Oh. I'm just gonna...
But you're gonna, I mean, that thing is still got a pretty serious forward-facing attack strength. Its primary function is to protect troops on board when you're deploying troops on planet. Yeah, no, I think the United States is still a wonderful country. I mean, but its democracy has fallen to borderline status. It's almost a partial democracy to my way of thinking now. I didn't know that you couldn't vote. That's something so. I mean, that includes everyone with a possession charge in the United States.
No, that's people who have a felony.
Well, the possession charge is in the American codified legal system.
It depends on. Sometimes it's misdemeanor. It depends on how it's worded and classified.
Yeah, I mean, I have a criminal drug possession conviction, so in the United States I wouldn't be able to vote either. But the problem is that includes 1 in 3 Americans at some point in their life, so you can lose your right. So 1 in 3 means 1 in 3 Americans lose their right to vote. I mean, shit, man. If a third of your population loses their right to vote at some point in their lifetime, I think you have a problem there, like a serious one.
Why do you think this country is going to hell in a handbasket? Everybody's so worried about
terrorism, war.
They're so worried about criminals getting firearms. Well. They all seem to think first thing they hear the word criminal is they think about people in jails and prisons.
Yeah, that's usually how that
are still running around free.
Yeah. Or ex-criminals, ex-cons.
Yep.
Being an ex-con is, I mean, there are things worse in life than being an ex-con, but I don't think, if you're an ex-con, you shouldn't lose your right to vote. You're vested in the society still. At minimum, you should be allowed to vote once you're out of jail. If you want to deny people the vote in jail, that's one thing, because you won't be in jail forever. But denying them the vote...
A lot of it just depends on which state you're in.
Yeah.
I think South Dakota, if I really wanted to petition for it, I could get it back, but it's really not worth it because the way society's going.
Well, that's one of the biggest criticisms about the American, and it's not just convicts, it's about in general, like people who don't have the vote getting it. It's very, very difficult to vote in the United States, is what I've heard. And in Canada, it's the opposite. The government is bending over backwards trying to get you to vote. And they're trying so hard because they want you to vote their way, right? And they found that when they make the effort and when you get a political party involved, that's who does it really here. If you go to the Liberals or the Conservative Party and you say, look, I'd like to vote, but I can't for this reason, can you get me the vote? They will turn the fucking system upside down for you, trying to get it so that you can vote, because you'll probably vote their way. Right? And that's one more in their favor.
Yeah.
And I think they go above and beyond the call. History shows that when they bend over backwards like that, they build a vote not just for the short term, but for the long term. People park their votes in this country, and they tend to vote the same way over and over again, like they do everywhere else probably. But it's who your team is, right? Like, who do you go for? And here the discourse also isn't so divisive. We don't argue as Republicans and Democrats argue in the U.S. We do have our debates. We have some fine debates here. But, you know, people do argue about things, but it's not done with the acrimony that there is in the United States that we see between Republicans and Democrats. If you're on, you know, the blue team or the red team, depending on what your favorite color is almost, or your economic background, like this guy Zuckerberg at Facebook, who recently got caught with data mining issues. He's going to Congress now. He's a Republican. Why? Did he really think the Republican Party is a better party for him and his company? Maybe, maybe not. He does come from money. He went to MIT. That means that that's probably a Republican vote, right? It's your background that matters. So it's sort of that way here too, but it's not as parked and it's not as guaranteed. There's a little bit more. There's a lot of people who are swing voters. I count myself among them, although generally I'll tend to vote Liberal, but I have voted Conservative before. I can go either way. And I think that's fairly representative of most Canadians. In the end, I just like the idea of being able to vote, and I like a country where you're able to, you know, at the very minimum, you have some stake. It's not much, but you do get some stake, at least, 1 in 33 million. But the fact that you're not even 1 in the 300 million, they don't even give you that right. At least not without you jumping through a whole shitload of hoops to get your vote back after you lose it from a conviction. That just...
Yeah, at one point in time, a few years ago, I thought about trying to go through all the hassles of getting a governor's pardon.
Yeah.
And about that time, there's a bunch of these stupid shootings started happening, and they started getting all bent out of shape about firearms in general. The only real reason I was interested in even bothering to get a governor's pardon is so I could get the right to have a firearm again. Legally, I'm not supposed to have a firearm in my possession anymore.
But you could get it back, and you could have gotten it back in theory. Although you might still be able to.
Theoretically, I could have, but the problem is with the way that the society is here in the U.S. right now, it's not worth the hassle, because I still have to go through a lot of hoops and hurdles just to put my name into the hat for a possible pardon. And it still has to go to the Board of Pardons and Paroles. They look at it and they put their 2 cents into it before it goes to the governor. Well, depending on how the whole gun debate goes, is the governor going to want to give out a pardon just based solely so that somebody can have a gun again? Probably not. It's up to his discretion, his personal choice if he wants to allow it or not.
You know what? This is why you can't come to Canada, probably more than any other single reason. The Canadian government will look at it this way. If your government isn't even willing to trust you with a vote or with a firearm or some of the more fundamental privileges, not rights, but privileges that you would get as an American citizen. If they won't trust you with that, then why should a foreign government?
Yeah, well,
right.
When it comes down to it, there's really, I don't know if I'd even be able to go to Mexico. I don't think I can leave continental U.S. again, or ever.
But you could go to Alaska. I think you have right of access to Alaska, but...
Yeah, that'd be Alaska and Hawaii I could go to because it's American...
And Puerto Rico.
American states.
And territories.
So, yeah, the point is, most of the countries in the world wouldn't allow me in. All because when I was 18, 19 years old, I was stupid.
Well, I think the EU might. I don't know. The European Union, I found this out, that even with my conviction, I can travel to Europe. You know why though? Because in the EU, it's the lowest common denominator. The country with the most relaxed policy for transit is the one that counts. So if I say Spain is the country of choice, even if I want to visit Ireland, I get a Spanish visa, and then I enter the EU and I fly to London Heathrow and go to Ireland. Even if Ireland doesn't really want me there, I still have right of passage once I'm inside the EU. So I would just go via Madrid. You know, it's an extra plane ticket. It's an inconvenience, but it can be done.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I see it this way. I'm not too worried about it because at the end of the day, I don't really have a desire to travel abroad. I can't afford it, so...
Yeah, the people that... You know what? The people that travel anyways are the ones that want to spend money doing that. There's always money available to travel. If you're single and if you want to, you can probably earn enough money to do it. The problem is you won't own anything else. Like, you will literally have the shirt on your back. You'll move from place to place. You'll build some memories. You might meet some interesting new people, you know. But in the end, we all live on the same planet. And whether I'm in Ireland or if I'm in North America or if I'm in, you know, ancient Rome, wherever I am, I want to keep my stuff here in Canada, right? Like, I want a Toho. I want to have a home somewhere. So I can't really manage the cool shit I've got at home with being a traveler, and, you know, as much as I want to visit.
You gotta be nomadic.
You have to be somewhat nomadic in nature, yeah. And if we could travel to Mars or the planets or whatever, I might be more interested then, because that interests me. Then I might spend my money, you know, visiting Europa or Mars or, you know, go off world somewhere. But right now that I'm confined, right? And right now I have my simulations. That's pretty much it. It's pretty cool, but it's maybe not the same thing. And right now the reality is, if I want to get off this planet, it costs billions of dollars, which I'm never going to have. So I'll be sticking to Oculus.
If I were to decide to do something drastic, if I wasn't married and had kids, I'd probably move off out into the bush and live a subsistence lifestyle. Get the hell away from society in general.
I think a lot of people who don't get married probably feel the same way, you know.
Move to Alaska, one of the few places in the United States left that you can actually go get lost in the wilderness and nobody can find you if you don't want to be found.
I think you might find it hard to exist without the internet, despite that, but you can get on the internet from pretty much anywhere now anyway, including, you know, out in the bush. So you just spend it a little bit on a satellite and hook up, and you link to the satellite in orbit, and you've got yourself an internet link. And if it's not that way now, if it's not affordable now, it will be soon. In fact, Elon Musk, one of the things he wants to do is create a satellite network that basically means that the Earth has internet everywhere, you know, by 2020. So in the next couple of years, we'll probably have free internet everywhere on the surface. Or next thing, if it's not free, it'll be next best thing to free. And then from now on, as that satellite gets upgraded, that's going to piss off a lot of the carriers too. No one knows what's coming, but those satellites that are being planned, they're going to cheapen internet considerably, because you'll just buy a piece of hardware, and then after that, you'll have internet access that you won't necessarily have to pay a monthly fee for. It's gonna get even cheaper to be online. The carrier's gonna have to come up with the next greatest thing to. It's all about content. It's been money off of. It's been going the way since I joined the internet, like back in the late 1990s, when the internet went truly commercial. Since that time, it's becoming increasingly about content, and now it's almost entirely content. After those satellites go active, it'll be the big players in the networks, like, I mean, the big global players, not the Ma Bells and the big cable carriers, Time Warner, whoever. It'll be it'll be Elon Musk's new company, and it'll be, you know, cheap. Because he's going to have, it'll be the people who can afford the big infrastructures, and that's good for one thing. It makes it's a transfer of ownership of that infrastructure away from the people who hold it now and make money off of it at consumer expense to other people like Musk, who are good people in general, but they don't necessarily share quite so much. And but it'll be cheaper for the consumer. So there's a bit of a wealth transfer happening. I don't know yet if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
At the end of the day, that's just the way economy works.
In the end, yeah, amalgamation. But I mean, the bottom line is what I'm getting at is that it's about content, right? So your games, your television, what you do to waste time, basically, is going to become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Oh, they'll just make other aspects of life more expensive to compensate.
Oh yeah, there'll be stuff to do. People keep thinking technology is a threat. I don't see it as a threat. It just makes it just changes. It changes things so that some things are less expensive, and then people find new ways to make life cost money. Basically, is how it works, from what I've seen. Like AI, for example, everyone's all worried that androids or robots are going to take over our society and do all the work. Well, maybe they will, but it doesn't mean humans are just going to start sitting around doing nothing. I don't personally believe that's really how human psychology works. Like, I know that's how the economy works. You get money for incentive. Money does provide incentive, but no money doesn't provide disincentive. So if you're on welfare and you loaf off the welfare system, that model of someone loafing off the welfare system, I think there are people that do that, but they're in a minority.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in the majority at all. And even if there are, it's not like the America's so overflowing with welfare programs that, you know, that's a terribly easy thing to do. You probably have to go through, you know, file folders full of paperwork just to get that way. Might as well spend it. You might as well spend it. You might as well spend it looking for work.
It's easier just to have a job than I can do whatever the hell I want when I want.
Right.
I've never been on welfare, so I don't know, but...
Like, how the hell do you get to be on welfare? Well, my brother spent a large amount of his life on welfare. And you know what? It's like, being on welfare is not the easiest life. Like, you constantly, if you're really on welfare in Canada, you constantly have to show them bank statements. They watch to make sure that you don't give any extra money. You know, you have enough to live, and you will survive, but you're not gonna have any perks or extras. And human beings need that. Right? Like, this is one of the issues that causes people to do drugs and to engage in diversions of this sort is just the fact that, you know, life gets to be kind of meaningless after a while. If your life is not occupied with an occupation, you know, what the hell are you here for? Like, you need something to do. You need to contribute somehow. Don't you want to leave your mark? You know, like, however small it might be, it's still a mark that you have to leave in your wake. Are you going to have a family? What are you doing, you know? And I don't think people function very well just existing. So why anyone would want to be on welfare for any length of time? It's a stopgap measure. It's how it should be treated, and I think those that don't do so at their behest.
This cousin of mine pretty much has 4 kids from a couple different dads.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a job, but she's on welfare, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So the last time I ran into her was at a store a few years ago. And she's all telling me about how she's spending the last few dollars she has to get mac and cheese to feed her kids for the rest of the month. As soon as she's done with that sentence, she starts telling me, or trying to show off the new tattoo that she just got. It cost her $350. but she can't come up with $3.50 to buy mac and cheese for her kids to eat.
That's a late, you know, it's not healthy, obviously.
That is the kind of mentality that a lot of the welfare leeches have.
But that's more fun. That's even more fun.
That's one of the things that's kind of driving a division in our society, because you got people like me that work. My wife and I, we work for everything we have, and then we have to pay taxes just so that people can sit at home and pretend to be raising their children when their kids are at school 8 hours a fucking day.
But you're also paying for the people who can't work because they're sick. You're also paying for people that, you know, it's not just them. You're paying for a whole group of people. It's much larger, but yeah, that includes.
And that's fine. The people who legitimately need it, that's one thing.
You want them to have it.
People that live off the system because they don't want to get a job.
Yeah.
There's a problem. They give them all a bad name.
Yep, that's true. Very true. Yeah. Yeah.
So my paint job is at 93%. Is it really worth fixing my paint job?
I don't know. 93%. No, not I. You know what? I've had my paint job degrade down to like pretty much zero. You don't need paint on your ship.
No, there's no oxygen in the vacuum of space. It's not going to rust.
No, but you do encounter micrometeor damage, and the only thing that it affects is if your ship looks too haggard, after a while you can't take passengers. No one wants to get on board your jalopy of a vessel. Right? Just buy the paint job. It doesn't cost that much.
I need to buy the pirate themes for my ship. It just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, well, if you want to be painted up like a terrorist carrier, then go ahead. You can do that. It's not against the law. You can paint yourself with a terrorist flag if you want. Nothing's stopping you. Actually, you know what I liked was the Cobra Mark IIIs. They have national flags from Earth. So you can get your Cobra Mark III with a Canadian flag as the paint job. If you spend money online, like it costs $2 or whatever Canadian.
Yeah. Well, that's why my Eagle is bright yellow or red or whatever color it is now. So I spent $4 on paint for it, so I can paint to different colors.
Yeah, I've spent a little bit of money on it. Like I said, it depends on what the state of my credit card is. Right now, my credit card is all run up, and I I don't even have $2. I paid it off exactly last month, to the penny of what it needed for the maintenance payment. So there's no money on it right now, but I make the minimum payments.
That's kind of what I do with my credit card, make minimum payments.
Until I really need something, and then I need to plan 3 days ahead of time, and then I transfer money from a bank account to the credit account, and then I can spend money as I want on the credit. But I have to plan it. I can't just, all whimsically, and I sort of do that deliberately because I don't want to whimsically start buying stupid little paint jobs in Elite when I've got no job, and want to save money.
Spending money in video games is very easy to do.
It's disturbingly easy to do. And you know what? The only reason I'm playing Elite with you right now is because it's free. I bought it, 2 years ago. And they haven't charged anything for it since then, really. So you get pretty good. And then I've got my headset that I also bought about a year and a half ago. When I'm doing this when I work, right? So I got a pretty nice setup here, but now, damn it, like I'm playing so much of my life has been invested in the freaking thing that I don't even like. It doesn't cost anything. I can exit the real world and be in this world with my VR headset. It doesn't cost anything extra. I've gotten more than my money's worth out of the headset, even though it is kind of expensive. I've been using my computer to write software recently, but Between this and writing software, I get a lot of use out of my computer. It's worth the $2,000 that I've invested in the computer, the monitors, everything except the VR helmet. So I think I'm doing pretty good here, all things considered.
We all gotta have a hobby. You figure once
as long as it doesn't take.
I'm outside to go hunt, go fishing. I'm not going to be online as much.
No, the summer's a terrible time to play Elite. Then I'll be on like once in a blue, but that'll be true for just about everyone. Then I'll be on again in the winter, right? Winter will come. You get that first cold day, and then it's like, oh, time to get out, dust off Elite. You know.
I suppose it's about time for bed too, so I think I'm going to have to...
Oh shit, is it already time for bed? Fuck, I haven't even done a mission yet.
10:30. I've already done like 4 missions while we're talking.
Yeah, I know. I haven't even done a mission yet tonight. I'm still working on my first one. Okay, well, you go to bed. I'll finish off some work here, and then I'll go to bed too. After I take my sleeping pill and my medicine.
Well, I'll talk to you later then.
We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.
Good night.
Good night. I spend too much time talking, not enough time actually doing something in this game lately. Alright. Because you really got... As if you can't vote in the United States if you have a criminal record. That is just... Ay, ay, ay. This idea that you get, the whole idea of having a criminal record, that you get a criminal record when you're young, and you have to pay for pardons and things. I gotta start really correcting people's mind, changing people's minds in my own little world about that, because I'm sorry, but you should at some point be forgiven for things. This idea that we as a society are less forgiving and we never forgive mistakes made in someone's life at any point, and that once you have a record, you have it forever and ever, amen. That has got to be... It's not the record anyway, it's the consequences of it. Especially with some of those records now becoming, so-called records, now becoming not records. For example, pot possession. Starting to wonder exactly what a... People don't really remember what a crime is anymore. Crime means you have to hurt someone, in my mind, but other than yourself. Ooh. Hmm. Okay, I guess that's all we get for now, so we'll do one of these planet missions, and then we're going to likely call it a night. Looks like the Wajemi system has got some business here. There's our black market, interstellar factors, and Wajemi is our nearest. Well, there's Auriga as well. Let's have a look over here. What do we got inside of Auriga? This is the Auriga system? Pegasi sector. Well, I guess we're going to go there.
Before entering the docking bay. If you don't have access permission, deployed.
I guess that kind of explains why Trump has so little support amongst Americans polled. Most Americans can still vote, of course, but having 50% of the population with a vote and saying that, well, any given time, 15 or 20% of our population is disenfranchised for one reason or another, that is an insanely high number. And it's got to be that high just to account for all the people who have minor crimes in their background. There shouldn't be minor crimes, and right now there are major crimes and minor ones. If you're guilty of a crime, you should be guilty of something major. This minor crime nonsense has to disappear, and the only way to make it disappear is to take it out of the law or decriminalize it so that whatever penalties exist in society, they're not part of the codified criminal law. I'm not exactly sure how this happened, but it doesn't work. Especially if you're disenfranchising the population that much.
Delay, State Tango, Romeo, India. Follow correct procedures before attempting to dock at this port. Permission granted. Plot route for approach to landing pad 06. Automated approach engaged.
I had no idea it was that difficult to get the vote in the United States, so even if you're not a criminal, you can still face other hurdles. And someone needs to do a count of what those hurdles are and get rid of them. Before less than 50% of the population votes. Or can vote, I beg your pardon.
Contact confirmed. Clear to disembark. It's good to have you with us.
extracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Frameshift drive charging. Orbital flight engaged. detected. Incoming message. Frameshift charge detected. Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Orbital flight engaged. Scan detected.
entered a trespass zone. Incoming message. Under attack. Trespass zone cleared. Bounty intact. Bounty incoming. Handbrake is on.
Landing gear retracted. Target shields offline. Target destroyed. Frame shift charge detected. Frameshift drive charging. 3, 2, 1. Engage. Warning. Temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging.
Tango, Romeo, India. Please comply with access protocols before commencing docking procedures. Docking request approved. Set course for landing pad 4-5.
Landing gear deployed.
Contact confirmed. Deactivating docking systems. Station facilities are at your disposal.
Keep in mind, please stow ship weapons while inside the docking bay. And around the starboard. Thank you for your cooperation. In order to keep bay traffic flowing smoothly, please follow standard operating procedures and request docking permission before entering the starport. Docking bay access is bidirectional. Please keep the airlock clear at all times. Thank you. This is an important announcement. Security surveillance is in effect at the facility at all times. Any acts of aggression will be met with an appropriate response. For the safety of all visitors, be considerate of other vessels while passing through the main access corridor. We extend a warm welcome to new arrivals in this facility and wish a safe journey to all departures.
Landing gear retracted.
Alight as your assigned path. And thanks for choosing this facility.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
denied. Decrease distance to 7.5 kilometers. Request approved. Cleared for landing on docking bay 3-8.
access is bidirectional. Please keep the airlock clear at all times. Thank you.
Incoming message.
In the interest of smooth traffic flow within the docking bay, we request that pilots avoid blocking access to docking pads. Services at the starport are constantly being updated. Remember to visit every time you pass through the system. This is an important announcement. Security surveillance is in effect at the facility at all times. Any acts of aggression will be met with an appropriate response. Greetings to all visitors. Please alight at your assigned pad. And thanks for choosing this facility. We will be forced to respond to aggressive actions. For peace of mind, please stow ship weapons while inside the docking bay. Welcome to this starport. Check the wide array of services we offer and enjoy your stay at our facilities. We would like to remind all commanders to avoid blocking access to docking pads during arrival and departure. Access to docking facilities requires flight control authorization. Please submit requests before entering the docking bay. Peace of mind. Please stow ship weapons while inside the docking bay. This facility offers a range of services. Check your information panel after docking for more details. If you're unable to complete docking procedure within your time slot, you'll need to exit the bay and resubmit a docking request. Services at the starport are constantly being updated. Remember to visit every time you pass through the system. Docking bay access is bidirectional. Please keep the airlock clear at all times. Thank you. We extend a warm welcome to new arrivals at this facility and wish a safe journey to all departures. Unlawful behavior in or around the starport is not permitted. We thank commanders for their cooperation. This is a flight regulations reminder. Please do not obstruct the access corridor during arrival or departure. This is a flight regulation announcement. Please proceed to dock on your assigned docking pad in a timely manner, and refrain from obstructing other docking areas. If you're unable to complete docking procedure within your time slot, you'll need to exit the bay and resubmit a docking request. This is an important announcement. Security surveillance is in effect at the facility at all times. Any acts of aggression will be met with an appropriate response. We extend a warm welcome to new arrivals at this facility and wish a safe journey to all departures. Unlawful behavior in or around the starport is not permitted. We thank commanders for their cooperation. Docking bay access is bidirectional. Please keep the airlock clear at all times. Thank you. Services at the starport are constantly being updated. Remember to visit every time you pass through the system. This is a message to all commanders. Please reduce your speed when maneuvering your ship inside the docking bay.
Alright everyone, that's it for tonight. This is the 28th March, 3304. It's 4:57:47 Zulu at a Core Force Station, the HIP 493, or Hipparcos 493 system. I'm Commander Trium, signing off for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
This facility offers a range of services.